So as we begin, I'd like to just give you each a chance to say hello, describe, just let people know where you're calling from. And if you want, share one thing that comes from the tropics that you really like. So to model that, I'll go ahead and start. My name's Michelle. I'm calling from in the Santa Cruz Mountains near Santa Cruz, California. And one thing I really love from the tropics is Afrobeat music. Yeah.
I'm Derek, calling in from San Jose, California, South San Francisco Bay Area, and spent a lot of time in Thailand because my wife is Thai, and all the various fruits they have that we don't even have names for in English. Yes, absolutely.
I'm Paul, and my favorite thing in the tropics are the indigenous defenders of the rainforests um, and the beauty of the rainforests themselves. And I'm also in Santa Cruz.
Welcome, and welcome to our viewers later on. So our intention for today is really just kind of a celebration. And that's why I wanted to start from this place of, something that we're aware of that we can be really grateful for. But of course, we also need to honor the genuine pain in the world, and that will be part of it as well. So I'll be telling you a little bit about the rainforests and then take us into a guided meditation that'll last probably about 40 minutes. And then there'll be some time at the closing if you want to reflect on anything that came up for you. So I'll mostly be sharing slides through this, and Derek, if you could set it to mute people as they come in, just so that it doesn't disturb people once we get into the meditation. So you may be aware of the ongoing threats to the integrity of tropical rainforests. There's increasing pressure to carve roads through them, to cut the trees for wood, to clear fields and grow crops for export, pastures for livestock. Some of the native people, the indigenous rainforest inhabitants, are being driven from their homelands. The political climate in Brazil and other countries of the Amazon basin, what's going on in Central Africa and Southeast Asia, these have all shifted away from conservation and toward even more rapid destruction in recent years. And while this fully deserves our attention and our informed action, it also needs our love and our deep intentions to heal. And that's going to be our main focus today. So I invite you to get yourself ready for a meditation session. If you can, try and, set it up so you won't be disturbed, turn off any unneeded devices, alarms, other distractions like that. And while we're settling in, I'll tell you a little bit more about the equatorial rainforests, about my work in those places, and about the Nova Sutras movement. After a few minutes, we'll open ourselves to sacred space and then start the guided meditation. I'll help you get into a nice, calm, relaxed, meditative state. And then we'll all really focus on reverence, healing, and loving kindness for these rainforests that are Earth's 3 green hearts. As mentioned, the meditation will go 30 or 40 minutes, and then afterward we'll stay on and have some time to talk about your experiences or answer any questions that come up for you. So the 3 green hearts, when we talk about them, we're talking about the Amazon basin and the rainforest there, the Congo basin, and this area we call Sundaland that includes the island and peninsula, Southeast Asia. I've worked in Congo and Sundaland, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And we're also helping out with a project related to Amazonia. So in the mid 1990s, I went to the country that was then called Zaire. Now it's Congo. And it's this southern curve of the Congo River is the only place where you find the species that I went to study, the bonobos. These are also called pygmy chimpanzees. They're very close cousins to us. And they're pretty endangered. So they're only found within this one country, which makes them extra vulnerable to the political volatility that's present in that country. While I was there, a civil war started in the east, and then people came marching through from the mountains just on the border in the east, all the way to Kinshasa in the far west of the country. And where I had been studying these bonobos, there were local traditions and taboos that protected them. But we knew that the people coming across had never encountered bonobos before. They weren't from that part of the country, and they didn't have those taboos. And so this was a situation where we recognized that there were going to be heavily armed outsiders coming through, focused on getting all the way to Kinshasa and hunting as a way to provide food as they went through. I had to leave the country as things got hot. Turns out I'm somewhat allergic to being in close proximity to people with automatic weapons. I don't like it. So when I came back, after seeing the rainforest there, getting to know some of the people there, I realized I probably wasn't ever going to get to go back. I changed my research topic and went to Indonesia to study orangutans on the island of Sumatra. Orangutans are found on just these 2 tropical islands, Sumatra and Borneo. I was there specifically to look at tool use in orangutans. And this may or may not play. There we go. You can see this is this male Musa actually breaking off a twig, making a tool, and then he's using it to pry seeds out of the fruit that he's holding, an Isia fruit that if you stick your finger in there, it puts these little slivers in. It's well-defended seeds. So this was the only population of orangutans where we were seeing regular tool use, the kind that you typically see on the videos with chimpanzees fishing for termites. These orangutans were behaving like that, and it was amazing. The place that they lived was called Swakbelimbing and was part of a protected national park in Indonesia. But while I was there, this was going on. There were illegal loggers coming in and cutting the high value, large mature trees in the habitat where these orangutans lived. Some of the trees that they were taking out were, in particular, the trees that were key foods for orangutans during the lean parts of the year. Probably most of the adult orangutans were able to flee, and there were remaining intact areas of the forest that they could still get to. But orangutans, like humans, depend on what they know in order to get food. The female orangutans that lived in this habitat in Swak they knew where the good fruit trees were in Swak. When those were cut and they had to go somewhere else, between the stress of having to leave the home range that they were born in and not knowing how to find food in wherever they wound up, it's very unlikely that they, any small infants that they had probably died of starvation. They probably weren't able to have infants in the following years. And this is a very vulnerable population. There are only, estimates are around 8,000 of these Sumatran orangutans left. They reproduce very slowly. So losing an infant is a tremendous loss. And you know that these mothers grieved. In recent years, the deforestation in Southeast Asia has switched from logging of select high value trees, which is still just completely devastating, to an intact rainforest, to all out clear cutting and slash and burn in order to make way for big plantations for export crops, largely palm oil. So that's what's happening right now in Sundaland. And then there's the Amazon. And at the end of last year, there were just record-breaking wildfires. The situation hasn't really gotten better. The Amazon is teetering on the brink of ecological collapse right now. All of these places are in deep crisis. The crisis made a lot worse by climate change, the loss of species in these most diverse terrestrial ecosystems is just unimaginable. It's important for us to hold that, but also to know that that's not the only story we can tell about these places. That while they are in pain, they are still beautiful. And there is still so much reason for hope. And that's going to be the focus for the rest of our time together today. So I'd like to introduce you to these two principles of the Nova Sutras movement, agaya and ubuntu. And these will be our guideposts as we set ourselves up to experience and think about these tropical forests. Agaya is a word that comes from the fusion of agape, meaning vast, transcendent, divine love, sacred love, and Gaia, which is a way that scientists are using to describe the fact that the entire biosphere, all of the life on Earth, seems to operate in ways that support ever more complex and diverse life. Life is constantly creating conditions for better, more beautiful life to arise. So when we say agaya, we're recognizing that all of that vibrancy and beauty in life is an expression of sacred love. Our other concept, ubuntu, is about interconnections. It's about the way we're all linked together. It comes from the languages of Southern Africa, recognizing that we are completely interdependent. As humans, we can only define ourselves by our relationships to other people. And really, you see that principle played out throughout living nature as well. Flowers are only there because of the plant's relationship with pollinators. Trees are only able to grow as enormous as they grow because of the tiny microorganisms living in the soil that help fix nitrogen, because of all of the fungi that break down material on the forest floor to create soil, because of this interaction with pollinators and seed dispersers that make it possible for them to maximize their own diversity and have their offspring grow in places out from under their own shadows. Ubuntu is everywhere. It is a fundamental principle of life on Earth. In Nova Sutras, we honor both spirituality in science and science to help us understand our existence, to open our minds, to expand our hearts, and to guide us into action. Agaya and Ubuntu are our way of recognizing how we're all woven together throughout the more than human world with reverence, joy, generosity, gratitude, and loving kindness. So Nova Sutras seeks to co-create practices to celebrate this integration of rational, emotional, and intuitive aspects of our human existence in full recognition of the beauty and the power of nature. And one of the ways we do this is by focusing our attention on an understanding of place and using that as a basis to really connect with loving kindness. We refer to this practice as calling the corners. And it's a way not really just to open sacred space. Sacred space is always there. It's always around us. It's a way to open ourselves to that sacredness, to really awaken ourselves to the place that we're embedded in and to all the life that surrounds us. So as we do this ritual to bring us into our meditation, I'm going to ask you to really focus on agaya and ubuntu within you. This reverence and joy, this gratitude and loving kindness, hold it inside you, but then send it out from you, from the center of you, out in the 4 compass directions, above and below, and then radiating out from the place you are in ever widening ecological zones until we encircle the whole world. So feel free, if you like, to say this out loud, to turn and face the different directions as we go around the compass. Or you can just sit and think through it. I'll begin with the south, since it's midday where I am in California, and that's the direction the sun is in. May all beings to the south abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings above abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings below abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the great tree beings who connect above and below abide in agaya and ubuntu. And may each of us, as good allies, abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings near us abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings in our watershed abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings in our bioregion abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings on our continent abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings in the oceans around us abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, beneficent biosphere abide in agaya and ubuntu. Now, I'm going to invite you to really connect with your senses and in your mind experience being in each of Earth's 3 green hearts, these amazing equatorial rainforests. So just sit comfortably. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes if you want. Take a moment to really feel your connection to the earth below you, grounding and stabilizing you. Feel the way you reach up into the air above you. Feel your breath filling you with lightness. Think about how a tree stands tall, connecting the sky and the soil, weaving together heaven and earth even more strongly. And as you imagine that sense of being like a tree, offer your gratitude to the trees for showing us the way to make these connections. Take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale slowly and completely. Inhale slowly through your nose, just noticing the feeling of air moving into you, and then release the breath and feel how it moves out, warm and moist, like the air in the tropical forest. Take another slow, deep breath in and really savor the feeling of that breath nourishing your relaxed body. On your next nice, gentle exhale, invite any tension remaining in your body to leave with your breath. And continue taking these deep, relaxing breaths as we welcome in a greater appreciation of Ubuntu and Agaya. Ubuntu expands our awareness of connection and interbeing. As you think about the beings that you're familiar with, the plants and the people and the other animals in the bioregion where you live, just pause for a moment and thank them for all the ways that they enrich your life. Just imagine those beings you see outside your door every day. Offer them some gratitude. Recognize that all your food was once alive and that that life is nourishing you. This is interbeing at its deepest level. This is part of what we in Nova Sutras call Ubuntu. How does it feel to know that something as simple and elegant as a leaf can capture the light from our sun and turn it into life itself? Everywhere in the world, these interconnections and interdependencies touch all beings. As you breathe in, allow yourself to feel these connections of Ubuntu. And as you breathe out, send your gratitude for them along those radiating interconnections. As you inhale and exhale, thank the trees, the other plants, all the living green things of this earth for providing us with the oxygen we need to breathe in. and for taking the carbon we exhale to build their own bodies. This gratitude to other beings with whom we share connection is just one facet of what we call agaya. Agaya is also that sense of wonder we feel when we see the light coming in through the trees, or a bird flying gracefully overhead. When we hear the thunder of an approaching storm, when we feel the soft touch of a warm breeze, when we smell the rich loam of the forest floor, this is our profound connection to the sacred beauty of the universe. On your next inhale, invite this sacred joy of agaya into the center of your being. And as you release your breath, send with it your feelings of gratitude to spread out into the world. Inhale wonder and joy. Exhale gratefulness for interconnection. Inhale agaya. Exhale ubuntu. Inhale agaya. Exhale ubuntu. Continue taking nice, slow, comfortable breaths at your own pace. As I bring our attention to the first of our 3 equatorial rainforests. Together we'll bring our focus to the thriving heart of the Amazon. With an intention to share Ubuntu and Agaya with the beings there. I invite you to visualize being in that place together. See us gathered beneath the trees in the heart of this vibrant rainforest. Deep in a healthy rainforest, the air is filled with a soft green light. It's rich and moist. There are sounds everywhere. The hum of insects, the call of birds, monkeys, frogs. Your senses are almost overwhelmed by all the variety of sounds and all the scents from the different flowers, the leaves, the soil and fungi. In the rainforest, the trees are spreading their leaves wide to catch the sun. There are so many different kinds of trees, each of them holding an entire ecosystem of ferns and vines, carrying all of these animals. Feel how these mighty trees are allies with us in calming our climate crisis. They're taking in the carbon we've released, and they are trying to save us from the folly of our fossil-fueled existence. As the trees breathe, they cycle water from the soil to the sky. They're producing the very rains that their forest needs. So much that the health of the Amazon is shaping the weather for the whole world. This great river flowing through the life there and up into the sky. The warm, wet air provided by these trees above us carries all the rich scents of so many fruits, flowers, mushrooms, fallen leaves. In places you can hear water just condensing and dripping from the leaves. There's a gentle trickle of a nearby stream, providing this backdrop of sound to the chorus of insects and frogs and birds and monkeys. And if we listen closely, we can just hear the soft rhythm of chanting dancers in a distant village. Feel our gratitude, our fellowship with these indigenous protectors of the land, raising their voices and stamping their feet in celebration of the abundant beauty that gives them life. This incredible riotous profusion of life and color here makes the forest shimmer with energy. Allow yourself to envision that lush, abundant life here. All the animals that dwell here, the jungle cats, the tree frogs, the hummingbirds, the sloths, the monkeys, the lizards, the butterflies. Now together we'll send our love out into this place with wishes of agaya and ubuntu. May the great trees of the Amazon rainforest abide in agaya and ubuntu. May the twining vines, the ferns and flowers, and all the other plants and fungi that live in their shade abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the animals of this place, the salamanders, the marmosets, the katydids, the pink river dolphins, the jaguars, the macaws, the leafcutter ants, the river otters, may they all abide in agaya and ubuntu. May the rains keep these forests vibrant. May the waters of the Amazon River and all its tributaries abide in agaya and ubuntu. Imagine yourself now flying over the course of the great Amazon River, downstream and out into the Atlantic Ocean, over that great ocean, and then up into the mighty river curving through the middle of Africa, the Congo. We bring our focus now to this deep green heart of Africa with an intention to share Ubuntu and Agaya with all the beings there. Again, let yourself imagine opening your senses to that place, hearing the chatter of monkeys, the hum of insects, the cries of the big hornbill birds, the rich scents of fruits and soil filling the moist, warm air. May the agile red-tailed monkeys, the stealthy leopards, the clever parrots and other colorful birds, the graceful snakes, the elegant okapis, all the butterflies, the bonobos, all the wondrous animals of the Congo rainforest. May they all abide in agaya and ubuntu. May the indigenous peoples who live in the Congo forest abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the life in the Congo abide in agaya and ubuntu. Now we'll continue to travel east, up the mighty Congo River, up into the great volcano homes of the mountain gorillas, and over the wide and stormy Indian Ocean. To the island of Sumatra in Sundaland. We move in from the glittering shoreline through the swampy lowland forests and up into the forests that embrace the foothills and mountains on this huge island. We find great trees with buttressed trunks holding ferns, lianas, orchids, mosses. Graceful leaf monkeys browse in the treetops, while clever macaque monkeys find crabs on the edges of a stream, maybe disturbing a great cloud of butterflies that were resting on the shore. Fruit bats and songbirds flutter around, then settle in to feed on tiny red figs that are dotting an enormous tree. And then they flutter away again as an orangutan swings in to claim a share. Feel the amazing vitality of these healthy equatorial forests. And envision that energy filling you and spreading out from you to heal all the forests around you. And all of the rainforests, all around Earth's equator. As we travel together with all the love we have for these places, with the light of the equatorial sun shining down on the trees overhead, Imagine taking all that warmth and radiance and letting it fill our own hearts. Together, we shined loving kindness and wonder, ubuntu and agaya, from the heart of the beautiful rainforests. Together, we shine ubuntu and agaya over the rivers and across the deep and sparkling immensity of the oceans. Together, we shine ubuntu and agaya to every place on earth now touched by the light of the sun. Together, we shine agaya and ubuntu out to touch all those in the dark of night right now, all around the world. Together, we shine the light of ubuntu and agaya across the universe from our beautiful little home world. Together, we inhale ubuntu, taking in those feelings of connection and mutual support. And we exhale agaya with gratitude and reverence and joy. Inhaling ubuntu, exhaling agaya. Inhaling ubuntu, exhaling agaya. We offer these experiences of agaya and ubuntu as a gift to the whole world. When you're ready, gently begin to feel yourself settle back into your own body, your own place in the world. Feel the weight of you supported by the earth beneath you. Feel the air you inhale lifting and straightening your spine. Start to feel your hips and shoulders, maybe move them a little bit. Your arms and legs, your wrists and ankles, fingers and toes. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes and come back into a state of calm attention, energized by your connection to Ubuntu and Agaya in Earth's 3 green hearts. Take a moment to thank yourself for sharing in this worldwide meditation to heal the rainforests. We in the Nova Sutras community thank you for taking this step toward wellness and awareness and a vision of the world abiding in Agaya and Ubuntu. there any thoughts, reflections, questions that came up for you? Do you want to share?
That was wonderful. Especially wonderful for me because we started by acknowledging the harm, but then as you guided us, and I let myself sink into the center of these rainforests, the vital center. I really could feel that pulse of life at its most generous and extravagant. You know, life on Earth is a miracle and a gift, and there is probably nowhere it is more miraculous than in the rainforest with their incredible abundance and variety of life. But that was just could not have been better.
One of my normal practices is to pause even for a second and just throughout the day and remember that the waves are still rolling up and crashing on that favorite beach, and the sun is still shining in the rainforest. And like you said, the warm, moist air is spreading the water that is life. And that's happening even no matter what's going on with me and my immediate surroundings right now, that this stuff is still happening too.
Thank you. It's really beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I just want to go ahead and close us out now. And you can always learn more about Nova Sutras on our website or through social media. We have a lot of great events coming up. We'll be offering another guided meditation on Monday that will be preceded by a gentle yoga practice. We're going to have a follow-up conversation where we talk about efforts that are already going on and maybe brainstorm some new strategies for what we can do to be healing Earth's three green hearts. So I do hope you'll join us for that next Friday. Nova Sutras offers discussions every Monday and Thursday. And those are open for anyone to come in and talk about almost anything from this context of trying to build a world of greater agaya and ubuntu. Our big celebrations 8 times a year are at the solstices, the equinoxes, and the cross quarters. And the next cross quarter is coming up this coming Thursday. So we'll be offering an online meditation for that as well. So thank you for joining in this meditation and offering our energy and wishes for the wellness of Earth's beautiful rainforests. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Well.